This situation is especially risky for Paddy Kirk, whose thoughts tend to spiral whenever he isn't fully occupied and distracted from his personal struggles. Being released on bail has left him suspended from his job, and since work is his main coping mechanism, Rona Goskirk feels sympathy for him and allows him to help out at reception, handling administrative tasks at the surgery. However, it doesn't take long for things to go wrong. With his mind clouded, Paddy ends up making a serious error. He attempts to assist a client and her cat when he shouldn't have, and he's emotionally too fragile to deal with the disappointment from Vanessa Woodfield and the stern criticism from Rona. As if things weren't already overwhelming, his court date suddenly arrives. Despite everything, Paddy tries to stay strong for Dylan, offering encouragement and support, even though he is falling apart inside. A brief moment of light comes when Eve Dingle presents one of her drawings, showing the entire family together, including Dylan. Sadly, the comfort doesn't last. Later, Paddy returns to the vets and notices the bolt gun. Not long ago, that same gun was in his hands when he came dangerously close to ending his life. The memory rushes back, reminding him of how close he came to acting on his suicidal thoughts. Overwhelmed with panic, he rushes out of the surgery and heads straight to his closest friend for support. Marlon Dingle immediately senses something is seriously wrong. The moment he sees Paddy, he notices how withdrawn and shaken he looks, like a shadow of the man he saw earlier, and instantly realizes the depth of the problem. Without hesitation, Marlon pulls him into a hug. Paddy confesses his fears about the upcoming court case, convinced that the worst possible outcome is inevitable. Marlon does his best to comfort him, but even he knows there's only so much reassurance he can offer when the situation could genuinely turn bad. Understanding that words alone won't help, Marlon decides to try a different approach. He suggests a distraction and takes Paddy to Celia's farm, armed with sledgehammers, intending to vent their frustration by smashing the place apart. What starts as a release quickly becomes something deeper. As they tear through the property, both men get lost in their emotions. For Marlon, it unleashes all the guilt and anger he's been holding onto, from everything he felt he should have done during April's ordeal and his family's suffering but couldn't. Destroying the kitchen table, which he sees as the center of the household where harmful plans were likely made, becomes a powerful outlet for that pain. It's an emotional and meaningful moment between the two friends, but it also brings back painful memories of everything they've endured. The question remains whether this act of release will actually help Paddy recover or push him further into his downward spiral. Emmerdale favourite Lisa Riley has been rushed to hospital following a painful accident. The 49-year-old star is best known for portraying Mandy Dingle, a role she has returned to on and off since 1995. Over the weekend, things took a bad turn for Lisa when she was taken to a hospital in Leeds, where she required surgery on her thumb. She later shared an update on Instagram, posting a photo of her hand in a cast, along with another image beside her surgeon. In the caption, Lisa explained that the injury happened after she slipped off a stool. She praised NHS England and expressed deep gratitude to her specialist surgeon, Mr. Daniel Thornton, as well as the entire medical team who cared for her. She revealed that the fall occurred over the weekend, jokingly clarifying that alcohol wasn't involved, but rather a slippery breakfast stool and a wool cardigan. Her left thumb took the full impact, resulting in significant damage that required surgery to repair the UCL. Lisa added that she is now recovering with the help of strong pain relief and commended the NHS for their outstanding care. Following her post, many of her friends and colleagues from the entertainment industry flooded the comments with supportive messages. Among them was podcaster and influencer Luke Hamnett, who sent his love, while Kate Fitton also shared kind words of encouragement. Co-star Amelia Flanagan, who plays April Windsor, also reached out with support. Meanwhile, Mandy Dingle recently made her return to the village after a short absence spent caring for Tina Dingle's children. Off-screen, this break allowed Lisa time away from filming as she travelled to Australia to take part in I'm a Celebrity. Get Me Out of Here. Upon Mandy's return, she quickly learned about the difficult events involving Paddy Kirk, Dylan Penders, and Beowulf during the early months of 2026. After weeks of misleading D.S. Walsh about their connection to Ray Waters' death, Paddy and Dylan eventually confessed to the police. They have since been charged with perverting the course of justice and are currently out on bail as they await their trial. This situation leaves Mandy facing the very real possibility that Paddy, Dylan, and Bear could all end up behind bars. She had previously tried to come up with a plan to protect Paddy and Dylan from prison, but after Paddy confronted her, Mandy ultimately chose to respect his decision to accept responsibility for his actions, no matter the outcome. Emmerdale delivered a dramatic surprise, as the supposed peace talks between Kim Tate and Chas Dingle turned out to be far from genuine. In the latest episode, what appeared to be a reconciliation between the two women quickly proved to be misleading, hinting that the tensions surrounding the farm's new chapter is far from resolved. Earlier in the month, Kim, working alongside Joe Tate, managed to secure the future of Butler's farm by striking a deal with the imprisoned Moira Dingle. Control of the farm was then passed on to Robert Sugden and Aaron Dingle, but the fallout from this arrangement is still unfolding. Kane Dingle and the rest of the Dingle family have been far from happy about Robert and Aaron teaming up with the Tates, and Chas has been particularly vocal, openly criticizing Kim with some sharp remarks. Despite this hostility, earlier hints suggested the pair might be able to set aside their differences and find some level of understanding. The episode opened with Kim and Chas exchanging sarcastic comments outside the pub before it opened for the day. They later went inside the Woolpack for a quiet drink, where Chas proposed a temporary truce, admitting she was exhausted by all the hardship their family had been facing. Although Kim responded with her usual cutting humour, there appeared to be a subtle sense of mutual acknowledgement between them. The two then moved to a back room to share a glass of wine, but the moment was interrupted when Kim received a call from Graham Foster. When Chas questioned whether Kim was at his beck and call, Kim dismissed the idea and even chose to ignore the call to prove her point. While it looked like their icy dynamic might be softening, the wider conflict in the village was still escalating. Elsewhere, Belle Dingle was leading an ambitious Dingle scheme, orchestrating a cattle theft from the farm. The Dingles created multiple distractions to slow Joe down as he searched for the missing livestock, including Charity Dingle pretending to go into labour. Their strategy paid off, buying enough time for Belle to successfully complete the deal. It was eventually revealed that Chas had been in on the plan all along, using the so-called truce as a clever distraction to keep Kim occupied. After revealing her role in the deception, Chas couldn't resist boasting about her performance, prompting Kim to warn ominously that she would now be far more guarded. Emmerdale airs on weekday evenings at 8 p.m. on ITV1 and is also available to stream on ITVX.